things success, ladies and gentlemen, with your one and only boy, Billionaire from Alex. Namhlanje bafowethu ngiphethe last number le business consulting person. Ngiphethe Dr. Mtha Ncube. Last number yamanzi, last number ya consulting, last number ya juice. You're going to find out why I just introduced him the way I did. It's a surprise for you. You need to stay true to the channel. You need to know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. Why? I'm going to be bringing out as much content as I can. There's going to be 2 shows, most probably per week, that I'm going to be dishing out for you guys. So Afwetu, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Without wasting any further time, Mr. Dr. Mtha Ncube, I want to get myself sued. You can get in big trouble. Is that true?
Not really. Way back it used to be like that.
Way back?
Yeah, way back it used to be like that.
Okay, for now it's calling people the wrong names. So someone is asking themselves, doctor, who is Dr. Mtha Ncube? What does he do? Who is he from? Someone is wondering, okay, how does he become a doctor? Who is Dr. Mtha Ncube? Just give us a brief introduction of who you are.
No, I'm just a simple man. I've been in business for quite some time now, but like anybody else, I started off as a worker, and at the age of 34, I decided to drop my job and start, as a small business consulting. For me, it was just a side hustle.
Okay.
But then, as time went on, I realized that this thing is actually bigger than I had actually envisaged. The business actually called me and said, now you need to leave your job and come and give me full attention. By training, I am an accountant by training, so I used to do part-time, financial statements for my businesses, on the sidelines.
Okay.
But then, as I said, when the business started growing, I realized, no, I can no longer fight it. I just have to go ahead and grow it. Yeah, that's how it all started.
Okay, no, doctor. But obviously, a lot of people now, they're probably in the same situation. It's like they're in jobs now. I've got kids, a bond that needs to be paid off. What informed that decision for you to say, I know, now it's really time to go? Because a lot of people are feeling, no, business is risky, you might lose it all. And someone might tell you, no, last time I tried business, I failed. And it isn't a serious thing, because there's a stats that says 90% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. So when I know I'm just going to go for this, I've had it with the job market, thanks, but it's time to move on to bigger things.
One good thing is that I was not earning a lot of money. Sometimes earning, it gives you that too much comfort.
Oh, yes.
So for me, it was a decent salary, but it wasn't a lot. That was number one. Number two, it had been at least 6 months, trying this thing as a side thing. And after towards the end of the 6 months, I decided, okay, I think this business is growing. I just have to prepare. By then, my wife was very pregnant as well.
Okay.
So, but I felt, look, whatever the case may be, I just have to give this baby also, the attention that it deserves. So I prepared for about 6 months in terms of the food in the house, the provisions and so on. I paid things in advance. I paid off my little small car. And I said, okay, I think for 6 months I'll be able to keep this thing going. And after the expiration of the 6 months, it's
viable.
It's viable and so on. So I went full force 6 months without worrying about what my family is going to eat or drink.
Yeah.
So it's important, if you are deciding to leave, don't just drop your job and say, I'm waiting a share and a hamba. No.
Billionaire from Alex opposed to Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Then I don't have an intrigue, I don't know, and you don't know my story.
Yeah, it's very tricky. So it's good to prepare at least 6 months in terms of your living expenses.
All right.
So that you can be able to give full attention without any stress, you see. And also what you're talking about, seeing a billionaire from Alex, they can lie, and tell you, I'm not a trick, I'm not in.
Yes,
The
yes.
advice that I give to youngsters is it's important to read, especially the boys. I've seen with the boys, they just drop school and say we're going hustling. Yes, you can make it, but it's a bit tricky. In Africa particularly, it's a bit tricky. So you need to have some education, of some sort. I'm not saying you need to be a doctor. No, you don't.
Get the education, not the certificate.
Yes, get the education, not the certificate per se. You need to have the basics, the understanding. Just on Sunday I was telling my son, you see, for you to be an effective entrepreneur, accounting, understanding of the numbers is very important. You have to teach yourself, and understand the numbers, because business is about making money. Marketing, you need to understand marketing, and some bit of human resources, how to deal with people. But marketing, very important, because the job of the CEO, the job of the entrepreneur, is to sell
the business.
You sell.
Yes.
And then when you have sold, the money comes in. You must know your numbers. You must know the condition of your numbers. Those two, once you know them, the business can then grow. As for the other things, of course, then you need people to assist you and so on.
Outsource them as well.
Outsource them and so on. I'm not saying you need to be an accountant, but I'm saying you must know and understand your numbers.
Very important, Dokotela. Point about you have these youngsters, the Instagram generation. The example that I gave, you see someone on Instagram, this person says, I dropped out of school and I became a millionaire within 3 years, but they don't tell you the failures they had. They don't tell you who funds their accounts, who funds their losses or their liabilities. Someone maybe is a trust fund baby. And another thing is that I read on a stat one time, it said that 63% of the top 1% of the wealthiest people in the world, they have a tertiary qualification. We're talking about Elon Musk, about Bill Gates. Some of them, they did drop out, no lies. But for them to even drop out, look at the caliber of schools that they dropped out from, and look at the level. Total business, third year and final year, and they were doing engineering, they were doing sciences. You understand? This is 63% of the top 1% of the wealthiest people. They're saying they have a tertiary qualification, meaning it's completed. So it's not all the time where someone will make it just by dropping out. Like, if I drop out, I've made it, or like I'm destined to be great. So just on that point, Doctor, what's your take on youth just maybe saying, I'm leaving school, or a degree is just a piece of paper? What do you think someone can maybe do in order to balance that? You talk about also preparing in advance in terms of finances with a family man. But let's talk to that young person, because most of my audience is youth. Let's talk about that young person who is in school right now doing marketing per se, and they are being told, degree is just a piece of paper, I'm wasting your time and I dropped out. What can you say to such people?
This is where then we need to differentiate between an entrepreneur and a hustler.
All right.
I'm a hustler myself. Yeah, right? And most of these youngsters who want to drop out from school are hustlers. And what I've seen in my experience, they go into, just doing supplies, commodities, just buy an item, go and supply at some government department. You're just hustling. You're not really an entrepreneur.
Yes.
An entrepreneur is someone who starts by hustling, and then they graduate and they start doing business, real business. And the statistics are right to confirm that, because the business has got its ups and downs.
True.
And without education, as you rightly pointed, with Elon Musk and so on, you find that most of them were doing engineering, mathematics, and all
some serious courses.
And already they do have that, the basics of understanding how the numbers work. You see, and how the world itself works. I've seen youngsters. I'll talk about boys especially. They drop and they say, now we just want to go and hustle. We don't want school. Meanwhile, what the girls do, they go the school route first.
Yes.
Mount Weabega, after 5 years, amantombazana phambili. Yeah, amachita, they're still trying, to make it, because hustling is very tough. It's grinding and all those things.
Long hours,
lack of funding,
no systems,
lack of networks, because sometimes abantu bakuthatha serious. These they are just shallow.
You don't have substance.
You don't have substance.
Even the knowledge industry,
knowledge industry and knowledge of the world, just knowing how the world works. You know, sometimes it's very important. When there is a war in Ukraine, what does it mean? How does it affect South Africa? You know, the geopolitics and all those things. You know, you need to have just a good understanding of those things. Now, where does the education come in? The education takes the sweat away from hustling. You see?
This is why it's called doctor, you see? Yes.
Because as a hustler, you're going to sweat. Whether you're digging the ground as a farmer or you're a consultant like myself, you will sweat. But if you've got education, it takes the sweat away. So you're still working hard, but it takes the sweat away from you. It makes things much easier, you know, when you have education. I'll take my example. In the afternoon, I'm wearing a suit or smart casual like this, but in the evening, I'm wearing an overall, right? So I'll do what the other hustlers, the mainstream hustlers are doing at night. I'm using this term metaphorically.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I find myself now being on the streets having to hustle and be in the same queue as the guy who has dropped school. But when things are very tough, when things are very tough and I need to push in my business with some injection, I become a lecturer, you know, later on during the day. You know, I go and sell my educational status, and within an hour, you know, I can make 8,000, 10,000 rands because I charge per hour. You know? I can do consulting and you owe me just for sitting in front of me. I take that money and I finance this thing that I need to go and supply at ESCOM or whatever it is. You see?
Yeah.
So unlike someone like who doesn't have a plan, I don't want to call it plan B, who doesn't have the sweat remover, you know, you have to go around trying to borrow from friends and relatives. And it's post-COVID now, no one has cash. You see?
Yeah.
No one has spare cash to give to you. So it means even if you have an idea, sometimes the idea dies because you don't have a cash flow
to back it.
Whereas if I have an idea, I can go and sell my skill that is based on the education, which is a rare skill. I go and do it, I bring the money and finance this thing.
Yeah.
So I may not even need to borrow money from the bank. Or the other way of looking at it, when we go to borrow some money from the bank, mustn't get a bank, they will look at our credentials. Now on your bachelor's degree, you are better off than somebody on a diploma. Already by just that education.
That's how the banks view it.
That's how the banks will view it. Now on a master's degree, you are a lesser risk than somebody who's just on the street.
I hope you're listening out there, guys. Some of you are asking me about funding. Some of you are complaining, the banks don't want to take me in. Maybe you don't have that thing, and maybe I was missing out on the scholar, but maybe you can partner with people. For example, your Dr. Mtha, now amongst your friends or your family. Partner with that person so that when you do approach the bank, you have higher chances of being approved.
Yes, you have a higher chance of being approved because already banking, I understand quite a lot of things, how the banking system works.
Yeah.
You know, and already you get that respect. And it's very unfortunate, this is Africa, you will get that respect. Because some of the ideas that we talk about, with just stop school and do this and so on, those are American things. America and Africa are two different things.
I'm reminded of a funny post I saw on social media. They say, yes, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of school, but he didn't drop out of Tembelihle High. He dropped out of Harvard, meaning he had went to a very good high school, and meaning he was top of his class, because Harvard doesn't just accept anyone. So he had to be very good. Then I figure Harvard. Nakona Mara drop out. He dropped out when he saw that his business is now requiring a lot of his time. His business is financially viable. Because at the end of the day, guys, you might be saying I've got an idea, but if it's not financially sound or viable, that's when the investors, the banks, cannot put some money into it to fund it through. So you need to make sure, please be careful, guys.
You are right. Harvard is not going to accept anyone. These guys, they drop out from reputable schools, right? And also look at it this way. Our ideas that those guys have, my guess, I'm just guessing, the ideas come when they are already at school.
They are in that channel.
In that channel, and then they discover an opportunity.
Yes.
So what do? These guys, they postpone. They postpone e-education now, right? They don't completely drop out. If perchance they completely drop out, then they teach themselves.
Yes, other skills.
Are you prepared? No, but are you prepared to read the books? Mark Zuckerberg will read about 21 books per month. It's only that no one a lecturer in front of him.
Certificate,
Certificate to prove. He doesn't need it anyway. But these guys, they read. Our Bill Gates, don't be fooled.
Warren Buffett is rich because he just reads newspapers. He reads about investments.
They read everything. Elon Musk is always reading scientific books and all those things. That's why he has those ideas. But now you're going to drop out and you don't read anything. You just follow Instagram and so on.
Listen to your house.
Listen to your house now. You'll die grinding. You know? But if you are prepared with, okay, I'm going to change the scale at all. And then I'm going to teach myself. Every month I'm going to read 10, 15, 20 books. You're still at the university. You're still teaching yourself, Because I read about 4 books per month.
Come on.
Every day. Before I sleep, I must read. In the morning, when I wake up, I read.
And these are not just novels. These are business books, leadership books,
leadership books. Now I'm sure you have read it already, the 5 a.m. club.
Oh yeah. I haven't read, but I know about it.
Yes, I'm busy reading it now. I think
Robin Sharma.
Good
Book, by the way, guys.
Good book, that one. Very, very good book. I finished the Blue Ocean Strategy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm ever reading. I'm a doctor. The last number is education. But it doesn't mean when I'm done.
Yeah.
I have to read every day.
You got the certificate, but you are not finished with the education.
Because there's something new every time. There's something new every time. You see? So you have to keep on learning. So if you're going to drop school and you are prepared to teach yourself, then you are fine. But if you are going to drop, you are going to get rust. You don't read anything. And once you get rust, that's the end of you. Then you'll stick with a lot of ideas, but you can't actualize those ideas. So be careful, mount your trophies, girl. Be careful.
I know Nyabuza. This is a very interesting conversation. Guys, if you have something to say or comment, don't just put the WhatsApp status about this channel or me or doctor saying, I know these people, they are fraudsters or comment there below. Tell us what you think about this thing. Education versus dropping out and making it in business or whatever it may be. I would like to know what you think about that. So, I think business in, doctor. You're a businessman. You spoke about consulting. What exactly is it that you do? What's your business last call currently?
My business is a funny business. I'm in the business of manufacturing billionaires.
How?
Like you. Yeah, like you. Yes. This is a university on its own.
Okay.
Right? I'm armed with education. I'm armed with hustling experience.
Okay.
Right? So a youngster comes to me as a business idea. Mine is to evaluate your business idea. It's not only another business idea, and I'll tell you what work with you, co-create reality with you, and we see what your business here. How do you improve on this business idea? How do you then, where do you get funding? Where do you get support in terms of systems and all those things? So mine is to listen to your business idea and ask you questions until you understand what you want to do. I'll ask you questions until it's clear, your idea becomes very clear to you. And after that, you'll be able to go and actualize your idea. Because sometimes you sit with big ideas, but to tell what we understand it exactly, you know.
Okay.
Mine is to assist you to do further research, assist you to really crystallize that business idea. But I do so by asking you questions. Ask you so much questions until you understand yourself, you understand your business, you understand the environment, you understand everything about that business. Then ungena lapho une-knowledge. Even ama-risks siyawabheka, nama-stakeholders wakho siyawabheka. That's why I'm in the business of manufacturing, I'm an entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Because I'm here to listen to business ideas and then co-create those businesses with you so that it becomes not just a hustle business, not just a side hustle thing. It eventually graduates from being a hustle thing to entrepreneurship, to a big business.
Okay, so that is the consulting business basically in a nutshell, Dr. Very, very interesting business. So someone, maybe doctor, is saying there, I want to go into consulting, but I mean, I'm so Dr. and I'm seeing that's not my education, Dr. Mtha. Can someone like me, maybe who just has a matric, who's got a couple of experience, let's say call center experience, can I start my own consulting firm in maybe sales training or call center behavior, those kind of things? Can anyone start this business, and what's the procedure to get started?
There are no barriers to entry. If you have a close corporation, these days we don't have close corporations. If you have a company and a laptop, you can become a consultant. But the question is, will you become a consultant or a consultant? Because there's a difference between no, but this was a PhD thesis. You see, that was 2011. A research showed revealed that the government was pumping in by then 10.6 billion rands per annum for our services meaning that have to do with consulting young people, you know, through NYDA, CEDA, the GEP and all those things, trying to build especially young people and mainstreaming them into business. Inadvertently, you also had people who were not experienced. We still have, who call themselves consultants. They will come and con and insult you because you sit with a document that is useless. Somebody writes a business plan or a marketing strategy for you. It doesn't help you. You remain the same. He's taken the money, he's gone. So would you call that a consultant? The answer is no. That's why I said, I ask you questions until you. So to be a consultant, there are no entry barriers. However, are you going to be an effective consultant? To be an effective consultant, you need the experience, bro.
Yeah.
You need education, because there's a lot of research that goes into this. You have to research at length, you know, on our services that you are extending to your clients. And you need also to have the experience, not only just your experience, but experiences of other companies, so that then you can say, no, I've encountered a situation like this, or such a person encountered a situation like this. This is how they managed to overcome it. But you won't just say, no, this is how they did it. You go on and do extremely further research, you know, extreme further research, so that then whatever I give you as a product, it's a product that belongs to you, and it's a product that is based on empirical evidence, not hearsay, you know. So you need experience and you need qualifications. Not a PhD, but you need to understand, you know, how the business world works.
Okay. No, that's a good thing indeed. At least now there's people who can actually get an idea as to which business they can start, not a lot of capital. No barriers to entry is a very, very important thing as well. But now someone is asking himself, will I actually have an idea? What does someone like Dr. Mtha look for an idea? Or maybe what are the reasons why so many ideas, maybe they don't work out, or they are not maybe financially viable? It's a good idea, but maybe it's not the right time, or it just might not work in an environment that is like this. Maybe it's post-COVID. What are those main things that you look for in an idea, and how you see Mtha? This one I definitely sure you might be Billionaire.
You see, see on Facebook and so on, and they say if somebody did it, so it means I can also do it.
Yes.
Right? They are not really so. I know we talk about this a lot, but I don't know whether one guy understand this thing. Basically, if you want to get rich, you must be in the business of finding problems. And when you find a problem and you can solve it, right? People will give you certificates, and those certificates is what we call money. No, because it's simple. If right now you feel that I'm doing a good job, right? How do you certify me? If I've done something for you, how do you certify me? You give me a piece of paper, that's my certificate. You are saying, here's a certificate for doing a good job, right? You have solved my problem. I had a problem, and you came and solved my problem, or assisted me to solve the problem. Therefore, someone is willing to part with money, right? And in Africa, we are so opportunely positioned. Perhaps in Europe, they have solved most of their problems, but we have so many problems in Africa. And here in Africa, there is an opportunity to solve a lot of problems. When you come out of this building, you will see a problem that needs to be solved. So if you come up with an idea to solve that problem, and people are happy in this community, they will pay you for it. So business ideas that solve problems are the ones that will make you rich. Yeah. You can talk about Bill Gates. What problem was he solving? Connectivity. You know, we used to have during our time, typewriter, all those things. As Seko was it. When Bill Gates came and gave us, these things, who's this other one? About the Apple guy. Steve Jobs. So they gave us what we wanted. Right? And therefore, you don't even think about Steve Jobs when you go and buy a laptop. You don't even know him. If you look Bill Gates, you just want something that is going to work for you. Convenience. So all of us are selfish. Every individual is selfish. I'll only pay you for something that benefits me. Or my mother, or my. You see? So you don't have to force your product on people. It has to be something that you have sat down and you have identified in the community. And you say, okay, I see there's a problem and I'm coming up with a solution.
Dr. Manje, nabanye abafundisi bathathe umsebenzi basitshela ukuthi to be rich you just say fire, or abanye bathanda ama-miracle money, or someone just thinks business, you post one picture on Instagram, DM me for prices, you become a billionaire. No, it's actually about looking for a problem and solving it. Then that's where money is created. Because now I was studying wealth one day and I got told wealth in summary is just about value creation in the marketplace. How much value are you creating? So that's a very important point.
Fire, they become rich. Fire, they become rich. In inverted commas. But whatever money they are making is limited to their energy. Have you ever realized? It's limited to their energy. So you must always create more fire every day.
They must create, spring up another oil that's more intense, more prosperity.
Bill Gates probably is doing charity work.
I was reading a stat about that. They say a second he makes like 1.1 million rand.
It's now automated. He can't even stop it himself. It's now automated. So in business is about finding a product. Even when you are not there, that product on its own is you can't stop the fire when it's moving.
It just keeps going.
It jumps. Even if the grass is green, you can burn it when the fire is very hot. That's how a viable business idea goes. You'll be trying to stop it, but you can't stop it. But if the moment you have to each time start a fire, every Sunday you have to start a new fire, new oil, it's not really something that will get you there. It's not generational,
Now I'm saying this, doctor, because I want to say about not just churches, but just everywhere. There was a forex, Bitcoin now. There's just a lot of scamming. So as a black nation, we need to know wealth, success, it's a long-term strategy, it's a long-term game, it's a step-by-step thing. And things are instant. They say if it comes quickly, then it's not meant to last. So that's just a point. Even for us,
let me just take you back a bit. For some of us who grew up in the rural areas, you see, do you know that your grandfather understood the concept of passive income than a graduate who has graduated from VETS? Because a graduate from VETS who may one income stream, pillar the salary, 31 days or 30 days you must spend on that salary, right? There's too much pressure on that salary. It's like a meal, There's too much pressure. You eat your pap in the form of soft porridge in the morning, pap in the afternoon, pap in the evening. That's how our salaries are like. But when you go to the rural areas, while they are sleeping, the goats are mating.
The seed is planted.
The seed is planted on the ground and it matures. You give it time. Before you know it, from 2 goats, after 5 years, you have 200 goats. That is passive income, because then it's not limited to their image.
Yeah.
Those things, they multiply on their own.
Yeah.
This is where e-wealth comes in. What we are chasing after, Tina, is the riches. But I believe e-wealth is the mother of riches. When you focus your attention on building e-wealth, the riches are the outcome, they are the byproduct of e-wealth. Like Maune Nko, you'll have meat, you'll have, imvumulo, you have milk, you have many products from it. Those are actually good examples of riches, right? Now let's contemporize that thing. When you start off as a hustler, maybe you buy a house, and you build a room, right? What you have done is you have laid a foundation for your wealth.
Yeah.
Right? And the money that comes from Mama rooms, that becomes your riches. Now, when you take those riches, you buy more of those houses, flats and all that, right? After 5 years, even if you are buying one house at a time, after 5 years you have 5 houses. I know Amatus that have 700 properties. So it's equivalent to the cows. That money is being generated. You see, that's how you can simplify the whole thing, wealth, passive income, and how it relates to our riches. Now we want the riches, which is the outcome. That's why you want it now. Just trade now and you make money. Just go to church and you make money. Just those things, they don't last because they are limited to your energy. They are limited to your trickery at the end of the day. But with the passive income, it happens whether you are sick or you are not sick. The goal to go on
naturally
for
takes care of itself.
Yeah. So even in mind, it's just a seed. Plant it and let it do the work for you.
No. I'm going to take the school. I'm masters. I'm a PhD. Talking about school, they heard me calling you doctor. Can you just share with us what exactly do you do to earn that title? In which discipline or in which course do you have a PhD in? Just for the viewers who are interested in your education, perhaps.
Okay. My base education is that of being an accountant.
Okay.
And everything in business, I believe, let the numbers talk. Let's start with numbers. You can't be in business and not understand your numbers.
Yeah.
You can't say you want to make money, but you don't understand your numbers. You need to understand your numbers. That's why I became an accountant. So I did a diploma in accounting. Then after doing my diploma in accounting, I realized that I really needed to study some more because I couldn't afford to support my young family by then. So I did a postgraduate diploma in business management in University of Zug. By then it was University of Mtha. Right after
UKZN now.
Now it's UKZN after it merged with the Durban Westfield. So then from there I did a master's degree in business administration with the University of KwaZulu-Natal. From there I then did a PhD with the Da Vinci. My PhD is in the management of innovation and technology. you're talking about, to the team. 9 out of 10 businesses, particularly black-owned, and here we register companies, about 70,000 companies are registered in South Africa per year. 9 out of 10 of those, they collapse during their incubation period, which is within 5 years, they collapse. So I sought to find out what are the causative factors that cause that. One of the things that came out, some of the things that came out, lack of numeracy, not understanding the numbers. You go into business, but you don't understand the numbers. It will go down, right? Number one. Number two, the lack of killer instinct. Yeah, we don't have killer instincts as black. Let me say black kids.
Okay.
Let me say black kids.
Okay.
We don't have killer instincts.
Someone
Libido for business. You are a man, you understand. Libido for business.
Yeah.
Libido as a man, you will understand what libido does to you. When you really want to share, you find a solution.
So we let that drive, that punch, that blow. Yeah.
Then what others do, or A1, but you will find a solution.
Yeah.
You will find a solution.
Yeah.
You will find a solution, right? Now, we sit with problems in the community. And those problems, we don't have libido, we have low testosterone. We would rather wait until the government solves it for us, somebody else solves it for us, charity and so on. But if we harness that libido, and have that libido for business, libido will force you to find a solution for the problem. That's how you should look at it. You will find a solution. You have to find a solution.
Guys, I hope you're hearing. This is why the man has a PhD. It's just, it's bamboozling my mind. So I think it's time for this niggas and my viewers. Just give your details. Maybe how can someone maybe who wants to consult you, someone who's interested in maybe getting a PhD, someone who's got an idea but they don't know how to bring it to life. What do they do? How can they just get in touch with you if perhaps they are looking for your services?
I'm here, lucky enough, I'm right here in Alex, in Orange Grove.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just an extension of Alex.
Yeah, I want to know about
yeah. 08267666262. You can put it on screen as well, right?
It will be there. It will be there in the description, guys. You can get the details as well.
Number 17 16th Street, Orange Grove. That's where we operate from. And we work with most of our business development agencies like your National Youth Development Agency, NYDA, CETA, GAP. So we can assist you to access those in our programs, so that then you can come to us. You don't have to pay for everything. The monies are out there, so we can help you to link you with those things. Come, let's discuss your business ideas. I'll be very honest with you. Mouse an idea, a better help you refine this idea. Go and refine this idea. Mine is to listen and then add value to it. And I'm not boasting, but I've created, I think, more than 100. I'm a successful business people, and I've trained more than 1,000 youngsters who are now working for different companies. When I meet them at the mall, my Apple ties and so on. We have to do that. For me, it's like it's soccer. I enjoy it. It's a game. Entrepreneurship should be a game. I used to give you an example when Ben is in the field, he's not thinking about money, he's thinking about scoring goals. Now what's his job to Man U?
Is to help
teach
them
score goals. Yes, to score goals, not to make money. Yeah. Leave that to a consultant like me when it comes to how to manage their monies. But his is about scoring goals. So you must look at the entrepreneurship as a game of soccer. Yours is to score goals. And money will follow you. In fact, I always say, when you have done all these things, if you focus on creating wealth, which is scoring goals, right? Focus on creating wealth, research, read, wake up in the morning, do your create quality products, services, and so on.
Yeah.
Then when you have done all that, and when you do charity, when you understand what you have to help others as well. If you do all those things, getting rich becomes unavoidable. It becomes unavoidable. You can try, but you will become rich whether you like it or not.
Doctor, I know, my mind is it's been overworked much. I think maybe we can have a part 2 or something later on in the year, because it seems like there's a lot to talk about. But just finally, Doctor, your closing words. We just came from 2 years of COVID-19 lockdown. People lost jobs, businesses were crushed. Someone is thinking, maybe this is the end, But I once heard, some of the best businesses that were formed during a dark period, a recession in economic terms. So what can you say to someone, maybe an aspiring hustler out there, someone who really says, I want to do it big, I want to really find a problem and solve it and have a comfortable life at the end of the day? Your parting words from a consultant's point of view, and just an elder or sevenza with the Billionaire from Alex, and what would you want to say is just your parting words now?
My parting words is I want to challenge the norm to think outside the box. Because sometimes to me this notion is misunderstood. Because when they say think outside the box, to me it sounds like you must wait until somebody opens the box, then you start thinking. COVID showed us that you need to think is inside the box. Because everything now is shut. 1 month you are inside. What do? You think outside the box, you see green grass. When you go out, the soldiers tell you to go back inside, which means you remain hungry. I came up with a lot of business ideas when I was inside the box. Your house is a box. You can find problems that need to be solved sustainably. You spoke about my water business. My water business operates from my yard next to my bedroom, right? So the water under my bedroom is converted into purified water that then is sold to to score metals, to your airvats, to ESCOM. All those people buy the water from under my house, which is inside the box, right? South Africa itself is a box. You're inside the box. There are many problems that need to be solved inside the box. And to many youngsters, and I'm a youngster as well, by the way. I'll tell you why I'm saying it. I'm a youngster. Nowadays, longevity. And 60 is the new 40. I'm 50 now. 60, which means I haven't even turned 40. That makes me 30. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's number 2. My kids are grown. You saw my son. It makes me a senior teenager. That makes me a senior teenager.
I'm full cook.
I've seen people of my age who sit and follow Ished every day, and they say it's child. What term to use? Yeah.
It's a penny.
It's
retirement.
Yeah.
Maybe
you live another 40 years or 50 years from that minute.
96,
and I'm 50. Maybe there's 46 years to go, so that makes me a young man. Right?
Yeah.
Now, look at this. There's only one thing during COVID that was not negotiable. Even the soldiers and the police that kept you in the house, they were eating. So if food business, if you find more problems that have to do with food, what people eat, people will eat whether there's recession, people will eat whether they are rich, people will eat whether they are sick, they are heavy,
people are doing crime because their stomach is hungry.
They will always eat. I went into farming during COVID. When we came out from that 1 month, I went and bought a farm in Northwest, and I'm busy farming. Anything that has to do with the food industry, eating, you won't go wrong.
Billionaire from Alex. Once you're millionaires there from the agriculture and food, you know who to thank.
Yes, agro-processing and all those things, because people will always eat. You won't say, no, I'm not going to eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat because I'm poor. I'm not going to eat because I'm rich. You will eat
I say Ncube property.
No, it can't be property. Remember, property is like your cattle.
It's the land.
No, it's your cattle, right? It's like your cattle. You put them in the corn, but it doesn't mean you don't hustle. You still hustle, but you put your cattle in the corn. So your property is your cattle.
Yeah.
So when you hustle, you make money there. Take some of your money, put it in your cattle, which is your property, right? And that's where you get your passive income, where you go and get some more money from somewhere else.
Okay.
Yes. So you need all that. You need cattle, you need goats, you need find something else that will give you passive income. You need chickens, something else that will be like chickens that will give you a smaller passive income. You need a lot of income streams in order for you to be able to go on. You see, now we are provoking. If you cannot afford to be broke, then you must know you are poor. You see, if someone who, when they are broke, already there is no food on the table, they are thinking about where am I going to sleep, what am I going to wear, and so on, then we are surely poor. But for someone who can say, I don't have a cent in my account, I don't have a cent with me here, but I know I'm going to land here, right? Why? Because they've got land and they've planted vegetables, right? They have a place, whether it's a rural home that is they don't owe for or they can afford to pay for. That person is broke, is only broke, but they are not poor because they'll be able to eat, they'll be able to sleep.
Yeah.
You see? So we need to avoid that. That's why we need to focus more on e-wealth. Where you stay, if you can pay off your house or you just build it from scratch. Hustlers, they will make money, but they don't concentrate on that. Have a place where you can stay, and whether you're broke or whatever, no matter electricity or not electricity, at least you can sleep, right? And you must have also something that will give you, put food on the table, whether you're working or not, you know. Then you're already wealthy. You are beginning to be wealthy, right? That gives you the opportunity to think and solve problems. You can't solve problems on a hungry stomach. So in Africa, we are chasing after poverty because we are so hungry to the extent that we don't know where we are going to sleep. We don't know where our next meal is going to come from. That's what we need to kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I don't stop it now, you'll end up complaining that this interview is overtaxing your brain because there's so much for us to talk about. But thank you so much once again, Doctor. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your points about how an idea can come to life. Thank you so much. Definitely part 2 needs to come up, and you guys, you need to stay tuned to the channel. We spoke about the water business, the farm as well. Very, very, very soon there will be episodes on that, so please stay tuned. We're going to be doing a show with Dr. San Mbo. Definitely you're going to enjoy it. You're going to see how the water gets done, how it gets purified. Maybe something you might even have an idea then. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only Billionaire from Alex with a billionaire doctor next to me. So please, let's make sure
But
that
can
we do something.
you smell billionaires? I can smell billionaires.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's how it ends for today.
I can smell more black billionaires.
They're coming. You can't be associating with me and not become one. So it has to be. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Cool.